All right, so here we are taking over South America. We had a 6v2 first, which I think is important, even though you can basically take Buenos Aires after Lima and then go for like a 7v2. It's a little bit riskier, and we don't really need a 2 on Bogota that bad because we can just fort like we are going to do at the end anyways to Mexico City. You can also fort to Bogota, so there's a little bit of a decision-making process here. It's blue playing next, so you can also deploy Mexico Bogota and use offense somewhere else. So there's a little bit of thinking processing going on here. Blue does need to eat one of green's regions in order to knock down his deployment total, since we played that attack last round. There's a little bit of time between moves, so we're just kind of thinking about what Blue's optimal strategy is, and I think he should probably deploy maybe 1 or 2 to New York and just take a 6v2 or so going for Australia. He does have 40%, 37.7% to take Australia, which would be a very strong move. I just don't think it's as likely, and you'd prefer to utilize all your troops and get those New York troops into Los Angeles and potentially break both bonuses. So, yeah, and there we go, talking about how the dice are affecting the game. And when I was talking live stream, I would say that this was like funny or it's kind of a joke. But maybe there's a strategic advantage that I've had this game where I've played maybe a little bit better than my opponent. So since green does have that card, Los Angeles card, I think it makes it even more valuable to over-deploy there and take. We don't expect blue to be able to conquer back. I don't think the fort to London makes any sense here. I think you should still fort 1 to Bogota every time, if not all 3. I'm not really sure what the thought process behind the London fort would even be. It's all connected anyways. So here we're looking at the odds of winning 4v1, 2, and it's very low because 3v2 is unlikely. Yeah, it's 2-minute moves, but it's kind of feels like forever. It's in some cases. Also, it was a 6v1, 1-2, so there is a possibility that yellow can get the break here. The London fort maybe was hidden since it's fog, and we don't expect to use Bogota. I'm not really sure what the secret is behind that London fort. Anyways, it's an escalating game, so getting a set on 3 cards for both players is very promising. Basically, it means that if they had 2 3-card sets, that potentially we could defend ourselves. We can wait here and play safe. I'm not quite sure why we didn't wait, to be honest. I guess taking Africa is pretty strong. There's nothing particularly wrong with taking Africa. The fort to Mexico doesn't really make sense. The fort to Dubai does, I think. Sending the 4 or 5, that 8 guys over to Mumbai. Just because he can deploy and basically go through Mumbai. Or sorry, the fort would go to Dubai on the green piece. And those would then be able to be used to kill yellow. And there it is. We actually did make that fort. I'm not shocked. Yeah, it's very likely that if blue doesn't have a set, that green's going to be able to get the kill anyways with 9 troops. But giving him the extra 6 there, I might have even gone all 9. I think technically blue is going to have to kill yellow, and it doesn't even change anything because we still get 2 moves, and after the kill, it's still tough to break South America, so yeah, the 4 chains were a big part of the reason I won, and the fact that I utilized the majority of the troops. I might not even need to post 3 videos in this series because I know this goes on for another 20 minutes. Maybe I play another game. I can't remember actually what happens. Maybe you just see other gameplay. I don't really know if fast forwarding makes sense either to make this go faster for you, but you could probably skip ahead. or you can just kind of watch how the game plays out if you're interested in the gameplay. So we're going basically for the kill on yellow, which is basically game over. And then we can forward over to red and let him finish them. Oops. Oh, I'm not sure why we actually took out Mumbai there from red. We should just forward it over. We're never really killing blue here, and I'm not sure I like this play exactly. It's unlikely that he's going to kill me or kill red. So, yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of that play, but it's probably fine. V1, V1, V1. Yeah, it's ended up being pretty much positive odds to get the kill. And you see I have some fast attacking skills. Ooh, okay. Yeah, it's just kind of a fun game. And you can also go back and look at the game number since it's on the game. And you can actually see this game, the chat, and the game does exist on Concrete Club. Reanalyzing back at the beginning of the game, I think is important. So we basically said that our successful route was, since green got to play first, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, red played first. But eventually we knew that red was going to get a bunch of troops to get this break on South America. So just being able to hold position on all three of the fronts, like basically Australia, South America, and Africa, we pretty much had control of the game. Having troops inside those three places aren't necessarily the best because they don't really fortify it together, especially in unlimited games. Maybe in chain games it's the best, actually, because you get a little bit of momentum, and they have to win a few rolls they have to basically get lucky to be able to break you if it comes down to that, or you have to basically just create a pigeon, or what is it called, where like a head-to-head collision where they have to attack a certain place. And so you basically get control of regions, and getting 12 regions or whatever in 2v2 especially, it makes it pretty easy to control. Yeah, the game review here I don't think is absolutely necessary. I almost don't even recommend watching the whole video. But it's pretty clear that the strategy was to stack up a big stack and get everything fortified together. I actually think I came out behind on the dice rolls and then ended up getting lucky on holding Australia, even though maybe Dana chose the wrong path going through the Beijing-Manila path instead of going through Novosibirsk. And even if it was for region control, I'd still take the higher odds to get the break on the bonus, as I said earlier. I don't really think this other player, Dana, had the chance of knocking out a player of mine. So the targeting didn't really come into play, so I basically just got to run over on dice and having the extra bonus deploys for it was actually Australia and then South America. But yeah, I think one of the things that I found from playing a lot of games is that offense ends up winning in the end. Bonuses do matter a lot as well, so even if you're getting the most offense, you can still lose by getting out deployed, which sometimes happens in games, high-level games especially. It's going to come down to deployment and some luck, a lot of luck, and maybe cards. Card play is important. I think maybe we're still highlighting mistakes that the other team made. I do think that it was a mistake for them not to connect New York and Los Angeles. If I played against this person like 100 times, I would just let them sit there, Chicago, Havana, 1-1. But if I was playing against a higher level player, higher skilled player, those little details, like leaving 2 on Chicago and 2 on Havana, basically would be to my advantage as well, because instead of leaving the 1s, it'd be to my advantage to leave 2s, because I'm trapping 4 troops and I'm leaving 2 of my own and they're trapping 4. I don't think that Yakutex was utilized right. It maybe could have gone to Los Angeles as well. But if you look at the position, it looks like that side of the map needed troops more. And so I actually agree with that play. Might be talking about going through the twos again here. I am remaking all these voice videos because it didn't really sound that great. The quality is pretty poor. Yeah, and then I think maybe Dana made a few mistakes throughout the game, which led me to have a little easier win. I am pretty tactically strong and play pretty well in each position that I get. And I think like fortifications and stuff were pretty accurate on my part as well. So I got to pat myself on the back sometimes too, not just say my opponent made mistakes that basically caused them to lose. Because there were some moments that maybe other players wouldn't have played the same way that I did, and like you kind of choose your luck in these games, especially since you're choosing a strategy. Okay, so here comes, I think, a freestyle. You guys might be in for a treat here. Okay, so here comes a 2v2 game. I think Dana actually ends up on my team in this game. 2 minutes is probably better than 1 minute. But if we're just looking to have fun, I guess we're doing 1 minute. Oh, Purple Viper. Yeah, I'm a pretty skilled freestylist, so putting Dana against on the other team, I think is going to be a little bit trickier. Purple Viper and was it Donald? Donald that was in there one, and especially 1 minute, it totally is to our advantage. Yeah, Donald Aiden. Yeah, so this should be fun. I wish I could. I guess what I should do is add it over the video and cut out these scenes. I'm not really the expert on editing videos and stuff, so maybe someday you'll see this without all this little inside stuff. But it is good to learn how to like set up games, and like doing these things is significant. Just being able to communicate with people properly, and yeah, at one point in my life, I felt like sending these messages and like being positive and stuff was something that was like say when I was like 16, 17, I was like, oh, those people are idiots. Like positivity and blah, blah, blah doesn't really help you in life, but it does. It does make people think more highly of you than if you're just like negative all the time. Yeah, so there's a little bit of coding. I'm not even sure who I'm messaging to, but I'm pretty sure it's Dana. I might be wrong. So just setting up the game. You can definitely fast forward through this part. I should segment the stuff too. Just like cutting from here to here is this, blah, blah, blah. That's funny that move is still going in this Hive game, so it's very significant that I get that done. 35 minutes. This video might even end before that. I might take it at the end. Oh, that's funny. I remember this Hive game that I just invited Donald into. Okay, so we're trying a few things here. That doesn't look like the right spelling. That's funny. I spelled it wrong. I have to go back and look at her name. Oh, no space. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think just like playing on a website like Concrete Club kind of gets you a little bit used to coding and different types of functionalities of websites. But yeah, here comes the next video.